Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, I'm trying something new real quick. Can you guys hear me? Uh, if not, just say, yo, I can't hear you. If can y'all see? Can y'all hear? Good. I see all you. Can y'all hear me, man? What's up, everybody? I'm assuming you guys. Okay, cool. Trying this microphone shit on YouTube so it can be better sound for you guys. So I just want to hear how you guys are feeling, man. I want to gauge the feelings that you guys are having in regards to the Vikings free agency right now. Right now, we've got a mass exodus of players. Let me bring up the list. I got it here. Everson Griffin, he just announced his exit from the Vikings today. Josh Klein was cut. Trey Waynes, he went to Cincinnati along with Mackenzie Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. Some dude that used to wear jersey number 14, whatever. Xavier Rhodes, Linval Joseph, J. Ron Kerr, Stephen Weatherly, and then also, I mean, Andrew Sendejo. We can put him in that mix as well. He went to Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. So, what are your guys' thoughts? I really just want to hear from you guys to see what you guys are thinking. What's up, Dr. Stats, Grumpy Old Man, Jelson, Trenton Cannets. Hope I'm saying your guys' name right. I'm goaded 10 says best off season ever, man. This off season sucks, bro. This off season fucking sucks, man. And I okay, let me so the list of players that left, let's be clear about a couple of things. Xavier Rose being gone is not a loss whatsoever. Linval Joseph, him being gone, I expected that to happen. Stephen Weatherly, I mean, him being gone kind of sucks because I never thought that he was going to command a lot of money anyway. Um, Mackenzie Alexander, that's a loss. He took $4 million, right? He left for $4 million. Now, I believe the Vikings they could have matched that, but that tells me something. That tells me that Mackenzie Alexander, he just wanted to go somewhere else. He just wanted a fresh start to continue his career, and I'm so done with talking about the leadership of this team. I've been doing so for the last 2 years, and up to this point, nothing's changed. Shit just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And so, honestly, I'm jaded. I'm jaded to the point now where I want to see this team win, but I have very low expectations because why the fuck did you cut Josh Klein? Why did you cut Josh Klein? The second best offensive lineman, right? So Rick Spielman, he gets up there in the combine. He has a press conference and says, we need to build an offensive line for Kirk Cousins. He needs that type of offensive line. If he gets protection, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And then also, Rick Spielman, you go out and cut Josh Klein for a $1.5 million savings on the cap, $4.5 million dead cap hit. That makes no fucking sense, bro. I don't want to hear about Drew Samia. Drew Samia, he maybe could start, but okay, fine. You can move Josh Klein to left guard to take Pat Elflein's spot and have Drew Samia play right guard. I don't understand it. So instead of having one hole at the guard position, we now have two holes because Drew Samia isn't a guarantee to lock in and just to be a workhorse. He's not locked in to just step right in and be ready to be a day one starter. So this team, they just do a bunch of stuff that just leaves your head scratching. But I digress. I digress. What are you guys thinking? Um, let's see. Let's see. Doom doom. AT Dub says this is not a rebuild. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know what's going on. Now, I talked about in the last podcast, or no, actually, it was a couple of podcasts before last where I talked about the Kirk Cousins extension and how I said it was the right move because there are no other options out there. Now, if it were me, I would tank the season away and go for Trevor Lawrence. And I said that that wasn't a realistic possibility just because of Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer. That's just not who they are to actively tank. But I gotta say, man, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if they're trying to rebuild, but after cutting Josh Klein, the Mackenzie Alexander, he's leaving, losing all these players. The only thing that makes sense to me now is if you are willingly, actively trying to tank for Trevor Lawrence with the number one pick. Because if you remember this new contract extension for Kirk Cousins, he waived his no trade clause. So that's gone. So they can trade him whenever they choose to. And so if they decide to cut Josh Klein, that's a piece on the right side. More pressure is going to come from the right side. I don't know, man. Maybe they're trying to lose. I have no idea. I don't know what the plan is. Um, do. And Cody Hurd, you said Everson is leaving. And I talked about that earlier. Everson Griffin leaving is not a big deal for me. I think we're fine with the defensive line rotation we have. Odenabo, I think he could do a pretty good job of filling in for left end while Daniil Hunter, he moves over to right end. I'm good with it, but it was pretty clear at the combine. Mike Zimmer was adamant. He wanted Everson Griffin to come back. So I have no doubt in my mind that they were trying to make that happen. And he just said, hey, listen, I'm leaving Minnesota. So that tells me something that maybe they just want a fresh start. Maybe they just want to go to another form of leadership with another team. And going back to Josh Klein real quick, I saw reports that the Vikings, they were trying to renegotiate his deal to take less money and all that stuff, which if I'm Josh Klein, no. Are you kidding me? I played pretty well for you last year. Why are you trying to come to me for a restructured contract? But I just think it's funny how you have, and I really don't mean to talk about this guy every time, but it just becomes more and more of a glaring issue as this offseason continues. I didn't see any reports of the Minnesota Vikings going to Anthony Barr to restructure his contract, a $12.7 million cap hit next season. I didn't see anything about that, but you go after Josh Klein. The fuck is wrong with this team, man? And for the record, for everyone that thinks I'm just being negative all the time, I try my damnedest to be positive and optimistic, but they keep lobbing me softballs, man. They just keep doing stupid shit. And for Zimmer and Spielman to act like they're Bill Belichick, but they haven't done anything, is really just disappointing. Eh, let's get Josh Klein to restructure. Anthony Barr 12.7. Nah, he's fine. Fuck out of here. Let's see. And I don't. Okay. North Star State says Zimmer's time is done. He had 7 years to win. So I think he's going into year 7 in 2020. But if this is a rebuild, you can't have Mike Zimmer here. You can't have Mike Zimmer for a rebuild, assuming that if Kirk Cousins, he doesn't work out. If you bring in a new quarterback, what the hell is Mike Zimmer going to offer a young quarterback that's trying to, I guess, ingratiate himself into the league by replacing offensive coordinators every single year? Nah, man. If this is a rebuild, we need to do a full rebuild outside of ownership. Let's see what some of your thoughts are. Ooh. Scrub Nation says Summer could gut the defense and build it back up. Oh, I'm assuming you mean Zimmer. Zimmer could gut the defense and build it back up like he did when he came in. Well, I'm sure that he had every intention to have the defense looking hot last year, and it went to shit. So, I mean, sure he could always build it back up, but even when his defense is great, this team just can't win, man. That's the bottom line. I don't give a shit if you can't win the Super Bowl. That's fine, but can you be competitive? For all the hype, this team, Mike Zimmer is the greatest salesman of all time. He's done a better job of selling hot air than producing on the field, because defense, it doesn't mean anything. The Chicago Bears, they just got Nick Foles, right? And I know we can make fun of Nick Foles and all that stuff. Nick Foles, for my money, I think he's a considerable upgrade over Mitch Trubisky. The last 2 years, you've gone 0-4 against Matt Nagy, right? The last season you went 0-2 against Matt LaFleur. Come, come on, man. What are you doing? Get I don't give a I don't care how good the defense is when you go up against good teams. Why the hell did the Denver Broncos game? Shout out to J-Ron Curse for sealing that victory for us. Why the hell did that Denver Broncos game at US Bank Stadium come down to the wire where we had to have one of the greatest comebacks of all time against one of the worst teams in the league? Why did that happen? Why does that happen? Why do we even struggle against, or I guess it's not a fair question to say, why do we struggle against good teams? Good teams are going to struggle against each other, but why are we so horrible against good teams? I don't, I've seen enough. 6 years is enough for me, man. Um, Dr. Stat says, do you think we'll be better than the Bears right now? No. Our offensive line is worse. Our offensive line was okay. We just need to patch up left guard and maybe get an upgrade at left tackle. But now we have two question marks on the guard spot. So our offensive line is worse for our statue of a quarterback. We just lost our crybaby of a receiver, Stephon Diggs. So I guess the entire perimeter threat of the best receiving duo in the league, that's over with. We can say goodbye to that. Adam Thielen, he needs to have a bounce back year after missing half the season due to injuries. And now he's the only receiver worth mentioning on that team so far. So teams, they're going to double up on him. You've got the tight ends. We have no cornerbacks. We have no cornerbacks on this team. Anthony Harris, I don't even know if they're trying to trade this dude or not. Right now, the Bears are a better team. Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles, or if they decide to bring back Chase Daniel. Right now, I would say we're third. Right now, Packers, Bears, Vikings, and then Lions. But of course, the draft, we got to see how that works out. Jelson says, do you think Irv Smith Jr. will go off this year without Diggs? I do. That's actually one of the players that I was thinking about once it was official that Stephon Diggs was getting traded. I said, "Oh, this is about to be Irv Smith Sr." So, or Irv Smith Jr. season. I think he's going to take off. I really, really do. Gary Kubiak, he's going to be calling the plays, the 12 formations. Kyle Rudolph, I think he's going to have another great year, even though the numbers didn't really justify it. But with Stephon Diggs being gone, the ball has to go somewhere. And I think even though Adam Thielen, sure, he can be healthy, he's going to see a lot of double teams, so he's going to need a lot of help. Yeah, the tight ends, they're going to go off. Let's see. Let's Rex One Kettle says we'll be blowing shit up this season after this one. Maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Wolf brothers, if they just, I haven't seen anything about a Mike Zimmer or Rick Spielman extension up to this point. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one soon because, I mean, with all the moves they're making moves like they know they have job securities. So realistically, yes. I mean, you're going to be here beyond the 2020 season. We just need to figure out the contract terms. Let's see. I shot you 99 says, ooh, this is a good question. I shot you 99 says, what should we do with Dalvin Cook? Extend him or not? I would say extend him. Chances are, at least if I were him, I would hold out before or seeing examples of this. The latest is Todd Gurley. We give this dude a big ass contract, and then a year and a half, 2 years down the road, it's not really the same guy. David Johnson, these guys, they don't really last long. So I would just try to. The one thing the Vikings do have leverage on over Dalvin Cook is that Dalvin Cook, he's had health issues his entire career. Okay, so every season he's played, he's dealt with some sort of injuries. This past 2019 season is the healthiest he's ever been. But the Vikings, they have leverage over Dalvin Cook when it comes to that. So if he's sitting there trying to do a Melvin Gordon move, even though he's way better than Melvin Gordon, I don't know. I don't know what the Vikings are going to do with that. I think they should extend him, but only at the right price. Mm, Viewed as cute says we got a lot of draft picks. Need all new left side of O line. Well, we also need kind of a right side too. We have Brian O'Neill, but Josh Klein is gone. I'm interested to see what Rick Spielman does with all these picks that he has. So historically, what Rick likes to do is he loves to just trade down forever, bro. Just stockpile, forfeit the fourth, fifth, sixth round picks, all for seventh round picks, guys that aren't even going to make the team. I wonder if they're going to make some sort of move to trade up or stockpile maybe in the second or third round. But hopefully, I don't see no crap of what we're usually seeing, a bunch of stockpiling of the seventh round draft picks. Mm, let's see what else. What else thoughts you guys got? Scrub Nation says, "Can the Vikings afford Robbie Anderson?" I have no idea. Let me, you know what? Let me take a look right now to see what the Vikings salary cap situation is. I mean, if you could just restructure Anthony Barr, maybe, but they have to do it. I'm sure the moves are there, but Robbie Anderson, I'm wondering how much he's asking for. I think I've seen somewhere that he's looking for double digits, 10 or 11 million dollars per. If so, I wouldn't go for that. So right now, over the cap, they have the Vikings cap room right now at about 7.5 million dollars. If I'm not mistaken, you need about 4.5 million to sign draft picks. So that leaves you about $3 million. So you would need to free up about another six and a half, $7 million to even have a shot at Robbie Anderson. Forget the fact of whatever holes that you need to fill out elsewhere. I'm sure it can be done. Anthony Barr, he's the main guy that needs to get restructured, but I'm just sick of seeing guys that don't do anything just get full on immunity. But you go out of your way to make Josh Klein or Jarius Wright or guys that actually show something when they're out there on the field. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense for me. Also, Sean Mannion, big ups to him. So glad that he's back. Did you see that? When I saw that, man, when they decided to bring back Sean Mannion, I said, of course, man. That's why I'm just so jaded. I'm just so jaded to where I don't even care anymore, bro. I won't really embrace everything until new leadership is here. Like I'll still analyze the team. I'll still watch from a distance and still just be like, with the coronavirus, just stay about 6 feet away from me because I don't trust you if you sneeze on me. But I mean, just these moves that you're making. What the fuck is Sean Mannion? How is he even in the fucking league, dog? How is he in the NFL to help Kirk Cousins study? This man had an $84 million contract, just got another contract extension for what, $66 million? However much is guaranteed. What do you need Sean Mannion for? Everybody else, what do they do on the field? But Sean Mannion, is behind the scenes. You don't understand. Okay. I could be a backup quarterback for the vet minimum, 500,000 a year. Let's see. We'll do a couple more. Radovan Panovich said Ben Gessling just out it out. I'm guessing you're saying just put it out. Not sure what you're talking about. Elaborate for me. What did Ben Gessling just put out there? Jelson says, at the start of free agency, I thought that we were doing all right. And maybe a few days later, my thoughts on Rick have gone all the way down. That trade for Stephon Diggs was like, okay, cool. That's what's happening. You cut Xavier Rhodes, you cut Linval Joseph, freeing up cap space, trade Stephon Diggs. You're getting this haul of draft picks coming in. I mean, and then you franchise tag Anthony Harris to at least come back or maybe trade him for more draft picks. And then you bring back Sean Mannion, you cut Josh Klein, you ask him to restructure before cutting Josh Klein. none of this makes sense to me. It just doesn't. Rick Spielman, it's like clockwork, bro. It's routine. He does one great move and follows it up with a stupid one right after. I don't get it. Scrub Nation says Scrub Nation says going wide receiver first round would be a massive mistake. I agree. Unless he's Julio Jones or something, you can find wide receivers anywhere. I've never understood. Laquan Treadwell is the latest example. I saw him out of Ole Miss. He was a nice receiver, but there was nothing that screamed, "Oh, Megatron, he's about to take over the league. This is a DeAndre Hopkins surefire can't miss player." It wasn't anything like that. So if you see a receiver like that in the first round, that is where he's here and everyone else is down here. Okay, cool. But nah, I don't think you need to go receiver in the first round. Irv Smith Jr., he could basically pick up to some degree to a percentage of what Stephon Diggs left off as an additional wide receiver. Mm, let's see. Far Trail Cluggin says, I bet we could get Trubisky cheap. Nah, man. Nah, I don't want Mitch Trubisky. That would be a massive mistake. He's better than Sean Mannion, though. I'll give you that. And he has beat us for the last 4 games under Matt Nagy. Let's see here. We'll do a couple more. Do. Oh, Radovan Panovich said 6.9 mil. So I guess that's what you're talking about. Ben Gessling put that out. The 6.9 mil, even though over the cap says we have about 7.5 million in cap space right now. Okay. I don't think they can justify opening the checkbook for Cook when you've got Alexander Madison and he's got the injury history. Alexander Madison, he's nice. I don't think he's Dalvin Cook. The skill set that Dalvin Cook possesses is one of the best in the league. Is up there with a Christian McCaffrey and a Saquon Barkley. I like Alexander Madison a lot. I do think he can be an RB1 for any team in the league, but Dalvin Cook, the only thing is he has to stay healthy. So again, it comes down to the money that he's looking for. And the Vikings, they have leverage because this dude needs to stay healthy for a full season. But I do agree with the sense that you don't need to open up the checkbook for Dalvin Cook. We'll do one more. Do one more here. Um, Eric Simon says, "Do you think Antonio Brown will be on the Bucks next year or any team?" I don't think Bruce Arians wants to work with that dude. Antonio Brown has just fucked his entire career up. If I'm not mistaken, he was guaranteed to make $30 million over 2 or 3 years, and he just threw it all out the window. So, whatever team he goes to, he's not going to get anywhere close to what he was previously making. And I don't think Bruce Arians wants to work with him. I think I saw a couple of reports on that, even though I know Tom Brady apparently still loves the guy. You know what? I always say we'll do one more. We'll do like 2 more. Green Bay eats ass. Green Bay eats ass says Trayvon in the draft still dude is nice. First round, yeah. But with the guard and left tackle, well, actually both guard. I don't know. I was yes, but I don't know. Before releasing Josh Klein, yes, absolutely 100% Trayvon Diggs, yes. But now I don't, because before I would have said that the cornerback group, that was the biggest need, the biggest area of need for this Vikings team. Offensive line is right there. It's right there with cornerback right there. So I wouldn't blame them if they went Trayvon Diggs. I would imagine Mike Zimmer would be like, last year we went all offense in the 2019 draft. Damn it, we're going to go defense this time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went ahead and did that. But I think it's a lot closer now between offensive lineman and cornerback in the first round. Viewed as cute says quarterback in the third round. Nah, for what? You got Sean Mannion, the GOAT. That dude can do anything, man. Seriously, this man, Sean Mannion, he needs to he needs to be a motivational speaker. He needs to get up there and motivate people all across the world to convince companies to invest highly in them for doing absolutely nothing, like the Minnesota Vikings have done for Sean Mannion. It's crazy. We'll do one more. Uh, Xavier Brothers Group says, "I think we're screwed until new management takes over." I think so too. I think we're looking at. I know you can still make moves in the draft, barring some crazy stupid move that the Vikings would make. I don't see it happening. I think we're in for a really tough year. And I know this is, if I'm not mistaken, this 2020 year, this is where we're supposed to go 17 weeks, like 17 games now for every team to play. And then it's been expanded to an additional team from each conference to make the playoffs. So it works in favor, but I think this is a tough team. I think, or a tough schedule that we're going to be facing. I think we're going to be looking at either 8-8 or 7-9, straight up. Anything else? Viking 44 says, I think Odenabo is going to be the next left DN. I think so as well. He had a standout year in 2019. Jack Michael says, Eric Wilson is the GOAT. Thoughts? He made more plays than Anthony Barr in the short amount of time that Eric Wilson has been out there on the field compared to Anthony Barr. Eric Wilson has made more plays, more standout plays, more splash plays than Anthony Barr. And I don't give a fuck about these stat geeks and all these people that just all over the years I've said this. The fact that people are coming around on it now is really funny because I got chewed up and spit out about it. Excuse me. For the last couple of years talking about it. This man does absolutely nothing. And I think the only reason we're talking about it now is because he has a $12.7 million cap hit in 2020. It's stupid. He does nothing on the field. All hype, no production, doesn't make plays. Eric Wilson is a much better player than Anthony Barr. And don't talk to me about the Pro Bowls because Xavier Rhodes just made the fucking Pro Bowl in 2019. Eric Wilson, who was, I believe, first team All Pro. Let me fact check that. That's going to kill me. I believe he was first team All Pro, right? Eric Wilson, first team All Pro. Eric Wilson was. He wasn't first team All Pro. Maybe he was second team All Pro. Okay. Either way, second team All Pro, and he made the Pro Bowl as an alternate. That's ridiculous. So the Pro Bowl means absolutely nothing. Actually, it's going to kill me. Was he second team All Pro? Eric Wilson. God damn it. Eric Hendricks. Goodness gracious. All Pro. There we go. Yeah, first team All Pro. And he made the Pro Bowl as an alternate. It makes absolutely no sense, man. So it is what it is. Atia says trade AB. AB who? Antonio Brown? I don't want him on this team. Then again, I mean, the whole whatever's going on out there in what are they out there? TCO Performance Center, wherever the hell it is, they are out there. Rick Spielman, the front office. It seems like it's just being set on fire right now. So maybe they do want to bring in Antonio Brown. Ron Palmer, what do you think of Cam Newton as backup quarterback? I think Cam Newton is extremely overrated. The one thing that Cam Newton was able to do was use his physicality to extend plays outside the pocket or rush, for 60 or 65 yards in a game. But now his body has broken down and he's always been an inaccurate quarterback. So now that his body is broken down, he's not as physical anymore and he's still an inaccurate quarterback. That's not all of a sudden going to change. Cam Newton, the whole idea, oh my God, the Cam Newton sweepstakes. There is no sweepstakes. But as far as him being backup quarterback, I don't think that he sees himself as a backup quarterback. I just don't. I think he thinks to himself, I could still be a starter in this league. Oh, you meant trade Anthony Barr. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, trade him, but they're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. I'm not even. I agree. They should have done it. They should have did it last year. Actually, no, last year. Goodness, that was what last off season when they signed him. He was going to sign with the Jets, but then he reneged on that offer. I just would have let him go. But yeah, they should trade him, but they're not going to do it. Mike Zimmer is just so damn loyal, and Everson Griffin. He wanted to bring back Everson Griffin, even though we have Odenabo to replace him. I just don't. They're not going to trade him. They should, but hey, we'll leave him at 12.7 million against the cap. So, I think that'll be it. Oh shit! Xavier Brothers Group. He left a nice little cash bucket in there. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I didn't even realize. I forgot I had this. Was this a super chat thing? I forgot that happened. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, brother. Um, GMAX 72. Yeah, Griffin is leaving. Yeah, we all know that. But yeah, man, no, I appreciate that Xavier Brothers Group. I mean, podcast will be next week. I'm working on a skit going over the Vikings free agency. I have a fun time doing that stuff. I like to do comedy type of videos. So let me know your thoughts. Any other questions? Anything else you guys got for me? Let's see. Because if not, we'll leave it at that. But if you guys, Michael Miller says, "Do you think they'll trade Kirk?" They waived the no trade clause. Nah, I could see it happening after next year, assuming that the season goes completely just goes to shit. I could see it happening. I could absolutely see it happening, and them saying to themselves, "Let's start over." My question would be, who would you start over with? Who would the new quarterback be? So I don't know. We'll see. Um, I think that'll be it. So yeah, we'll do some videos next week. I appreciate all the support. I don't say this enough to you guys. Seriously, thank you. You guys make this channel possible. I think I'm close to like 5,000 subscribers now. I really do appreciate it. All I do, I know a lot of people accuse me of being in my mama's basement. I'm not. I'm in a 3-bedroom house with my wife. I just made this third bedroom a studio, but I mean, all I do is just talk Vikings and have a good time. So I appreciate it. Stay safe out there, coronavirus, all that shit. Wash your hands and you'll be good. We'll see you next week.